Now, what's great about Joseph is that for him, it was the opposite. Even though terrible things had happened to him and he had all those losses, it caused him to draw closer to God, to be more committed to God. And as he was even in slavery, he found himself in a position of responsibility. There was this Egyptian official named Potiphar, a man of wealth and power and influence, and he saw in Joseph's character, he saw talent, and Joseph rose in responsibility. But the story has a darker turn. And in Potiphar's house, there was his wife, who was not a woman of character, who, instead of taking the time that being in a household like that with its influence and wealth and power and do good for others, she really cared more about herself. She cared maybe more about her boredom. She cared more about her entertainment. And she looked at Joseph and she said, well, this is a chance. I'm just going to have a little affair on the side with Joseph. But as we see her make that approach to Joseph, we see Joseph consistently showing us an example of how to say no to this kind of temptation. And the positive example of Joseph has three aspects. The first aspect is he remembered his obligations to God and people, right? In verse 8, it says, with me in charge, he told her, my master does not concern himself with anything in the house. Everything he owns, he has entrusted to me. As he goes on in verse 9, he says, how then could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God? He stopped and remembered his obligations. Before he yielded to that temptation, he thought about his relationship with God, which he had kept strong. He thought about his relationship with this man who had been so generous with him. And so from that standpoint,